Welcome to Marietta's Art Channel. Today, it's a grand finale of the Eyeball three-part series. I am so excited to share this with you, and you will follow my journey of the eyeball. And I get to uncover what I did as far as the frame. So I'm going to take this out. I haven't seen it yet. And it turned out so pretty. And I'm going to show you a little bit here what it looks like. It's very cool. It's very shiny, but I just think it turned out just the way I wanted it, and I think you'll really like it. So I'm going to put this back down, and then I'll show you the eyeball, which ended up having these little fish eyes, eyeball fish eyes. And I'm going to just turn it really slowly. You can really see them right here. There is a fix to this, and I will let you know how to do it. There are many different ways, but the way I'm going to do this one is I'm going to sand the surface. So I'm going to do that right now. All right, I want to show you what the board looks like right now. So I'm going to lift it up, and here it is. So the edges, you can see, are, some of them are more than others, but they have a white edge to them, and this one especially. Right there, you can really see it. So I'm going to color it with acrylic paint right now, so that doesn't show, and that dries really fast. So I'm going to do that next. And I just got some of that right here. So dab it on here a little bit. And that should do it. And I don't worry about the acrylic and resin being able to marry each other because they're happy together. So now I am going to use my heat gun just to speed this up. Once again, I am going to be using the Stone Coat Countertop Art Resin for the rest of this project. And I'm going to be using just resins. It's called Silver Halo, and it is so cool. It's like it's just a sparkly thing that I just love, and I think it's just adds a little bit of depth and sparkly prettiness. I'm a girl, what can I say to this? But I'm not going to add a lot because most men don't like that too much. So I am going to start mixing the resin. That's the next step. I am going to insert my eyeball, the eyeball thing, into the frame. I think eyeball is my favorite thing right now. I don't know what that is, but about 4 ounces of resin for this. Mixing. So I use disposable cups for this because I don't want to deal with removing resin, or, you know, with silicone cups they make them, and I've never seen one that's really big or really see-through, and I can really see when the resin is mixed, when the liquid portion of it is really clear. Even though there are a lot of bubbles in this, you can kind of see the bubbles are really like pretty major in here. But as you can see, the resin is pretty clear. So I believe I have mixed it. As far as I know, I always go by feel. And this feels good. So I'm going to clean this up. When I add When I add the sparklies to it, I added before I put the resin in there because I don't want them flying into my nose. And I'm not going to put a whole lot. I am going to put a very small amount in 1 cup. That might be even too much, but we'll see. And the next thing is I'm just going to mix the resin in with it. And I guess I just really need 1 cup. And mix the sparkles together with the resin. And it doesn't take much, just a little bit. Doesn't take too long. The next thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of a puddle of resin onto my frame, just to make sure that the underneath is totally coated. And I'm going to do the same thing here. You know, before I do that, I do have to take a look at something here, because I know I'm going to have to put the eyeball that direction. Otherwise, it'd be upside down if somebody ever wanted to put it on something like a table or a decoration. So the eyeball has to be that direction. I tend to put everything upside down, so that was a good thing. Good test of me. And I'm going to put that on top. By the way, the reason I didn't do anything to the resin below the background is because that resin has not hardened for 24 hours. And I have working time before the 24 hours is over so that it adheres. It's still a little tacky, so it will, any other resin I put on there will adhere. So first I'm just going to put the clear resin on it, and I see a little floater in here. Better get rid of that. I don't know what that was, but it was a little black spot. And then slowly coat the resin. I'm just going to coat it from the center and let it just flow out. And on its own, it's self-leveling. And I'm not going to add the sparklies until this is all ready to go. And I'm going to add that much. Make sure it's all covered on the edges. So I'm just going to kind of walk this around and make sure that it's evenly covered. And then I'm going to remove some of the bubbles and let it breathe for a little bit. There are quite a few bubbles in this. Takes a little bit of time. And while this is settling down, it's not quite done yet. I'm going to add the sparklies to the edge just ever so slightly, just to give it a little more interest. Oh, what the heck. I'll just add a little more to the inside too. There. All right. And I am going to need to use this for quite a bit. Got a lot of bubbles in this one. All right, wait for them to surface, and I'll do some more. I can see them popping like crazy. Okay, more bubbles. This is going to be like, sometimes I have to babysit this for hours. So I want to tell you that this process, now that I am waiting for the bubbles to rise, can take a really long time, especially in this little area. And I kind of did a pretty thick pour. It can take, well, I wouldn't say hours, but maybe an hour or more for me to babysit it. And toward the end of this, I kind of go over it with my flame and make sure that no bubbles show. And I can't tell right now, but it's still a little cloudy and I have to wait. And I'm not going to make you go through this with me. So while I'm waiting for the bubbles to rise up to the resin, I am going to be covering my piece because there's still dust in the air and I just want to make sure I get the least amount. And no matter what I've done before, I always had an issue with that. And you can really see it on the surface, so I'm going to do that next. So I have to share with you, my favorite part of this whole thing is removing my gloves. And I was doing this as a dentist, and it's kind of embarrassing, but I got to share it with you because it's kind of fun. So I'm going to remove the gloves, like this, and then to reuse them in resin, of course, dentistry, you throw them away. But here, I do is I just go like this. There they are. Do it with the next one. Well, you know, the fingers are not here. Enough air trapped. Woo! Welcome back. Yesterday has gone and today is here and it's been overnight. So the grand unveiling, let me go and do that and take a look at this thing. And I will show you close up what this is going to look like. It looks like little bubbles have formed in there, but it's really sparklies. I added a bunch of sparklies in there and you can kind of see them on the edges of the Scratchboard. The setting time of this is actually 24 to 48 hours and I don't ship this kind of resin for at least 10 days. That's where it gets its scratch resistance and also its hardness. So I just love the way it turned out. I hope you do too. On to the next project. See you soon. We're back from creating the eyeball art piece that we've been working on so hard for 3 episodes. And I think it turned out pretty darn well. I actually really love it. I hope you do too. Let me know what you think. And if it's something that you want to try at home, because you could, you know. If you had missed number 1 and number 2 episodes of this project, you could click on the links below and learn all about them. Next time, I am going to treat a canvas, get it ready for some cells made with resin. It's going to be really fun and hopefully turn out beautiful. So happy arting. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next time.